3.7 seconds. Yep, 3.7 seconds. That's all it took for this guy to lose his mind. Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is Crafting and Crime Daily. I'm Rebecca. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and you can consider becoming a member or Patreon that goes to support the contents of the channel. So what do we got today? Not just one trial, two trials starting today. So in this video today, I'm going to cover the, we're staying in Nevada. Yes, Clark County, same place we were last week. This is in front of Judge Susan Johnson, and I'm starting to wonder: are there any male judges in Clark County? Because we've seen three different female judges now. The judge that was attacked in this case, the presiding judge, and then the judge we saw last week in. What case was that last week? Oh my God, I'm just drawing a blank. Anyway, the case that we saw last week. So this guy's name is Deobra, like Deobra Redden. And it's spelled, Deobra is like Deborah, but when he came out a boy, mom said, uh-oh, we better add an extra letter in here. So it's D-E-O-B-R-A. Yeah, Deobra. He has been charged with attempted murder on an individual over the age of 60 years old. This happened on January 13th of 2024. Now, we all saw the video because it was all over YouTube. So they, you're like, how in the world can he plead not guilty to this? It's on tape. But after hearing his defense, I'm like, this makes sense. This makes total sense. And we're going to see if you agree with me. So don't forget, in this jurisdiction, they're allowed to ask questions. The jury is allowed to ask questions. They didn't finish seating this jury yesterday until 3:30, 5:30 my time, almost, when they went live with the opening statements. So once they finished the opening statements, that was it for the day. And there were not lengthy opening statements. And I will say the prosecution's opening, the poor woman, you could see she was shaking. She was nervous. I don't know if she's not done this too many times. Maybe she's fairly new to the prosecutor's office. I don't know, but she did a good job, but you could tell at times she was like, you know. And then in the middle of her presentation, they always have people that can sign into a Zoom and appear by Zoom and watch over Zoom. And any member of the public can do it, but you're just not allowed to say anything. So apparently at some point during a presentation, someone was showing an inappropriate video. Now, the jury couldn't see it. We couldn't see it, but you could hear it. And the judge is like, what is that? So she shuts Zoom down. She's like, no, we're not doing this. no Zoom. Yeah, this has never happened before. She apologized to the prosecutor. Anyway, I'm going to show you the first part of the prosecution's opening because it shows the video of what happened. Here it is.
Those were the defendant's words mere hours after he violently attacked Judge Mary Kay Holthus in this courthouse on January 3rd of 2024 in courtroom 3F.
In accordance with the laws of the state of Is she okay? Hey. Hey. Radio somebody? Fucking radio somebody.
Pretty incredible. I mean, parts of it are slowed down, but my God, what? You're like, what? It's terrifying. I can tell you in all my years in a courtroom, I've never seen anything like it. Never. Knock on wood. Thank God. I never had a defendant, a person that I was representing go ballistic on me. So she goes on to describe what each person that responded, like, could you see the judicial assistant up there? He's like wailing away because they couldn't get him under control. And he keeps wailing away. So you're going to hear from him. You're going to hear from the corrections officer that responded up there. You're going to hear from the defense attorney who just kind of stood there, probably dumbfounded. You're going to hear from all these people that were involved that day, including the judge. Her name was Mary Kay Holthus. Nice looking lady. Nice lady. Older. I wonder if she retired. Bless her heart. I probably would have. Be like, that's it. I'm done. Yeah. So what is his defense? You're like, what's the defense here? Well, 3.7 seconds. 3.7 seconds, his attorney points out. From the time this officer walks up behind, when it became clear he was going to prison. Because he was there for a sentencing on an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He took a metal baseball bat to his brother-in-law. Yeah. So, and there's more to that story, but as it becomes clear that he's going to be put into custody, and you'll see in this next video, the officer walks up behind him and watch what he does. He unsnaps the handcuffs. And as soon as he unsnaps those handcuffs, this guy is bolting for the judge. And this defense attorney said 3.7 seconds is not enough time to formulate intent. And in order to find him guilty of attempted murder, you have to find that he intended to kill her. So how did this all happen? He says, this didn't happen on January 3rd, 2024. It did, but it all started back on April 13th of 2023. Several months before then. I need coffee because it's a long story. Follow the bouncing ball because it's interesting. It's interesting. Okay. So on April 13th, he's arrested for the baseball bat incident with his brother-in-law. He's taken into custody and he is charged with assault with a deadly weapon. Now, when you're taken into custody and you're arrested, you're thrown into jail, not prison, you go to jail, and you have to appear before a judge or a magistrate within 48 hours. And they have to decide whether you get bail or not. And in this case, he wouldn't go to court. He sat in his jail cell and refused to go to court. That was on April 13th. So 7 days later, on the 20th, they're like, let's go to court. He's like, no, not going to court. Refused to leave his jail cell. 5 days after that, same thing. Won't go to court. So the judge that he was supposed to appear before says, I'm issuing an order. You get him here by any means necessary. And I can remember Darrell Brooks from the Waukesha Christmas Parade. I remember a time when he was refusing to come to court. Not in that case, but in one of his collateral cases, where he had assaulted his girlfriend. he didn't want to come to court. They strapped his ass into a wheelchair and brought him to court. And I don't know how they got Deobra to court this particular day, but he gets to court on the very next day. They get him in there. And he won't respond to the judge. The judge is asking him questions. How do you plead? He won't answer. And then he starts to disrupt the court proceedings. And that's a direct quote from the defense attorney. I don't know how he was disrupting the court proceedings. I'd like to know, but he was being disruptive to the court proceedings. So the judge sends him over to competency court. Now, what that means is they've got to evaluate this guy to see if he is competent to stand trial. They've got to find out, does he have a mental illness that prevents him from knowing what's going on here, from acting properly? Can he assist with the defense? Does he even understand what the proceedings are? All three of those things. And he was found to be incompetent. So when you're found to be incompetent, you have to go someplace until you become competent. So he's taken over to this place called Lake Crossings. Now, I'm going to digress here for a few minutes. I was interviewing for a job one time as a risk manager for one of these places in Florida. I didn't realize that's what it was until I got there. I was driving out in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, why is there a hospital out here in the middle of nowhere? Because I'm thinking it's a hospital. Well, it was a hospital, but not the kind you think. So I get there and it's surrounded by barbed wire. And I go in and the guy I'm interviewing with, explains to me that this is a place where people go that are declared incompetent to stand trial. And they stay there until they're competent. And then he's like, would you like a tour? I'm like, sure. And it was all males. It was a male prison. And I'm telling you, one flew over the cuckoo's nest here. Whoa, Nelly. I was not having it. I was like, no. First of all, I said to the guy, you're out in the middle of nowhere. Where am I going to live? He's like, oh, we all commute. They have some place they stay locally Monday through Friday. And then I'm like, oh, no, this is not going to work. So I didn't take that job. But like they had one guy who was, he would swallow his silverware and he'd have to go to the hospital all the time. And they'd have to take it out and they'd send him back. Yeah. So anyway, this is where Deobra goes, to one of these places until he can be found competent. And on October 20th, 5 months he's been there. He stays there for 5 months. And the doctors there say, once they got him medicated, he became competent. Now, I don't know what his diagnosis was, but his attorney mentioned that there was an element of paranoia. So maybe he's schizophrenic. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out because those doctors are going to testify during this trial. So once he's declared competent, he goes in front of this magistrate and he's read his charges and he says, I'm going to plead guilty. And he is released to his own custody. Released. No bail. Just, okay. So he has to appear in court on November 6th. Now that's November 1st that he's released. And on that date, he is given a prescription for his medication, but he has to go to this certain clinic to get this medication. And he's calling, he's made appointments. He didn't get the meds. So when he appears for his, on November 6th, he goes in front of Judge Holthus, pleads guilty. She's like, fine, you can come back for your sentencing on January 3rd. So between November 1st, when he's released on his own recognizance, and January 3rd, when he shows up for his sentencing, he's not getting any of this medicine. Now he's trying to get the medicine, but it's not happening. So he's off his medicine. And I can honestly, watching my sister deal with Medicaid, I can relate because it's sometimes impossible to get through to these agencies that are supposed to be helping you. Like, you can stay on hold for hours and hours and hours. And then you got somebody that's mentally ill. They're not going to stay on the phone for hours and hours and hours to get an appointment to take a medication that they probably don't want to take to begin with. So this is what all led up to him attacking the judge that day. Yeah. And then his defense attorney points out, and I don't know that he won any favors with this argument, said the judge was not hurt by the defendant. She hurt her head when she hit the wall because he was coming after her. But at no times did he have his hands on her. He wasn't trying to strangle her. Wasn't trying to kill her. That's his argument. I'm like, what? Okay. So I don't know that he's maintaining his insanity plea. I don't know, but he certainly, if he's mentally ill, I guess we want the jury to believe that he didn't have the capacity to form intent to kill this judge. And it was very spontaneous. Like, as soon as that officer clicks those handcuffs open, he's up there, Johnny on the spot on the bench. So I am curious how this thing's going to play out. It should be very, very interesting. So the other trial I'm going to cover is, it's a bit more somber. This is in Colorado. It's a shopping mall incident where the assailant walked into the mall and shot and killed 10 people. So that will be covered later on today. I know it's all or nothing with me. You get more than one video or you get none. So, all right, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.